Hello everyone. It's time to ask the question that's on everybody's mind. Is Aviate Finance a scam? A rug pull? And if it isn't, where are the funds? I first heard about the Aviate Finance project through the Flood Farm YouTube channel. You may have seen this channel, it's quite a popular one, operated by a guy called Jonathan Seller. Jonathan has a history of promoting projects which are on the riskier side of DeFi, and to be honest, I should have known better, having been in projects that he's promoted, such as Rely Fund, such as Yield Robots, Shuttle.Rent, Alpha Capital, and so on, that have all rugged. But no, my thirst for the holy grail of the 1% a day, 2% a day continued, and I ended up going into Aviate Finance, which, as you'll see shortly, promises decent returns up to 40% a month, some YouTubers were saying, although the founder Josh went for a meager 10 to 20%. Before the pre-sale, Josh did the rounds on all of the YouTube channels, which you'll have heard of, and all seem to be linked by the Truth Seekers, which are the Flood Farm, Jonathan Seller again, the Crypto Truth Bombs, which is Lou, the leader of the Truth Seekers, Dow King, who's also one of the leaders of Truth Seekers, and then we've got everybody's favourite Nebraskan superstar of crypto, it's James Pelton. James, if you remember, is the guy who went to Malta, audited the project called Yield Nodes, and came back concluding that it wasn't a Ponzi, except it was a Ponzi. More recently, he also had Stablefund on, which turns out to be one of the biggest crypto scams in the last few years. In addition to these guys, some of the lesser-known YouTubers, such as Pocket Aces and Fire Hustle, have also been balls deep in this. It's always the same kind of YouTubers that get on the same kind of projects. I wonder why. Now, I've mentioned the Truth Seekers a few times here. Some of you might not know what that means. Now, the Truth Seekers is a crypto project which launched in conjunction with Aviate Finance some time ago. It's run by a guy called Lou and also somebody who goes by the name of Dow King. They initially started offering services for KYC and for smart contract audits, and through many of the YouTube channels that I've mentioned, the Truth Seekers went on a massive publicity campaign to try and browbeat projects into using their security services. They created a token on launch called the Truth Token, and the idea with this was that the holders would gain some sort of benefits from holding the token and staking it. It started off around about 50 cents, went up to almost $1, but now sits just below 7 cents in value. There was also an NFT, which again was supposed to offer benefits and profit share to holders, but as yet I don't think anything's been paid out, and to be honest, I'm not convinced anything ever will be. It's probably no surprise then that projects that have been backed by Truth Seekers seem to follow the Truth Seekers model. Make a load of promises, sell a crappy token for stable coin, investors get the crappy token, which probably after initial pump and dump tanks to zero, and you get the juicy stable coin, which you can then go and spend on your Lambo. Anyway, so what do we know about Aviate Finance? Well, it's supposedly a crypto trading bot ETF, which means that they host the bots, they do the trading, we buy the security, and we get some of the profits. It's run by two Australian brothers known as Joshua and Tommy. Let's introduce Josh. Here he is speaking to the one and only James Pelton, who incidentally is in Malaysia at this time, promoting the latest Truth Seekers affiliated project that follows a very similar model. This is Kirk, but don't get me started on that.
Could you start out by a quick introduction of you, where you came from, what's your background, how did you get started with this, and then we'll start talking about the project.
Yeah, perfect. So probably like 4 years ago, I was just started obsessively trading crypto. That's kind of how it started. And it's just been like I started dabbling in DeFi, etc., and saw all these bot projects thought I could do a much better job. I knew some people, so that's kind of how this all came about, essentially.
It won't surprise you to know that the people Josh is referring to here are the Truth Seekers, once again, and also Michael Leitner, who is connected to Truth Seekers projects as well. Michael Leitner is a well-known figure in the crypto space. He is supposedly either one of the bot devs for Aviate or the bot dev, but we aren't really sure about that because Josh isn't transparent about it. Unlike the secretive co-founder Tommy, Michael Leitner did join Josh on some of the pre-sale AMAs. You'll see him on some of the clips I have shortly. It kind of makes you wonder whether Michael has a bigger role in this project than initially made out. Aviate Finance came up on the horizon just after a whole load of projects had pulled the rug on people. It promised access to institutional grade trading bots, which apparently are bots that you would need around $100,000 to even think about getting into. They're just that good. One of the other things offered to reassure investors was the promise of a Truth Seekers KYC, which apparently means that Josh and Tommy dox themselves to somebody at Truth Seekers. This should really have been a red flag from the start, given the proximity of Truth Seekers to this project. It does seem to be something of a conflict of interest. So, why do I think Aviate Finance could be a scam or a rug pull? It all starts with the pre-sale propaganda. When talking about the project, Josh said plenty of things that didn't quite turn out to be true. The one that most people care about is the level of expected return from the project. And as you'll see from the following clips, Josh, hand in hand with the usual cabal of YouTubers, was quite happy to overcook the goose on this one. But you can understand, based on what Josh said, why people were prepared to put money with him.
Like, what is your goal for this project? Do you have a goal set in average? Like, you want to see an average return? Like, what is that goal?
Like I know you can't tell us what we're going to be the expected returns, but do you have an idea?
Yeah, so from past results with our current setup, what we can expect is around 15 to 20% per month with our current setup. That's after fees.
Yeah. So our goal always each week is to make 15 to 20% every single month for investors. That's after fees.
The team expects to start off at a rate of 10% in monthly profits with the starting 5 bots and eventually work their way up towards 20% per month.
The Forex bot has been going for 2 years straight profitable, which is absolutely insane. Our high risk, low risk, and medium risk bots have been going for about a year profitable.
So there's a Forex bots that they kind of average 10 to 20% per month. There's a low risk crypto bot at 8% average per month, a medium risk that goes 10 to 15%, a high risk at 15 to 25%, and then the Truth bot, which is 20 to 40, around 1% a day, and they've done some testing.
And then we have it's listed as the Truth bot in the white paper. That's averaging 20 to 40% per month, and that's been going for 4 months straight.
And these are bots that have shown a history of successful returns week after week.
These bots are trading amazingly at 1% or more a day. But what's beautiful about this system is, what do you think that's going to do to the Aviate native token? That's right, it's gonna moon, it's gonna moon, it's gonna moon, it's gonna moon, it's gonna moon.
Looking at the chart just there from Dex Screener, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to work out what's happened. Josh and Tommy raised $1.6 million from investors during the pre-sale, and following the pre-sale, the first week didn't go very well. In fact, he only had 1 or 2 bots running, but that was his excuse for really low payouts. He promised next week would be better, and all would be well. These are institutional grade bots, remember? Not peasant grade bots like the ones you're used to. Oh no, institutional grade bots. You can't possibly afford them on your own. You need Josh. You really, really need him. Remember, the Forex bot, he said, had been profitable for 2 years. And then you've got the Truth bot doing 20 to 40%, which just sounds amazing. That wasn't the reality. In fact, all 5 bots combined couldn't even do 1% per month.
The real problem here is that we're not able to make any money at the moment. We're just not making any money for anyone, right? The bots are super slow, nothing is working. We actually did remove that 10% of the funds from the Truth and Forex bot because nothing was really happening now.
What if one of these bots doesn't work? What happens? Like, let's say you have a 2-month period where one of these bots isn't performing. What would you do?
Okay, so if the bot is not performing, we're just going to swap it out. That's it. We're just going to bring in a new one, swap it out. It's done.
If one starts to underperform, we'll kind of swap that out. And
At this point, we're 4 months into the project, the Truth bot's been shut down, the Forex bot has been shut down, and we are apparently left with 3 crypto bots, which all trade the same strategy, one with 2 times leverage, one with 3 times, and one with 4 times. Now, it's clear to me and to anybody in this project that none of these bots actually work. But we all know that crypto bots only work based on the instructions from the people running them. Is Josh really running these bots? If he is, anything he's done so far has made no difference. And instead of swapping out the bots, which incidentally he didn't do, he should probably swap himself out. Josh promised in the pre-sale to be transparent with Aviate Finance, but very much like the profits, this hasn't happened.
Transparency is something that the team wants to maintain with the community, and they'll be doing this by sharing trading bot logs for their bots.
Josh initially promised a live trade log system. He said this was under development and it would be imminent, but hasn't yet materialized. He then said he would do screenshots of the trading logs, but can't seem to manage to take 2 minutes of his day to put that on each week. And it's not even as if the bots are trading so prolifically that this would take an immense amount of time. In fact, according to Josh, the bots have only been trading 1 or 2 times a week, so there should only be a couple of lines to actually copy and paste. His failure to provide trade logs has also prompted questions about whether the funds are even still there, or whether Josh has access to them. According to Josh during the pre-sale, there could be no misappropriation of funds because the wallets were all going to be watched by the Truth Seekers Wallet Watcher software.
So we kind of have like a collaboration with Truth Seekers.
Isn't Truth Seekers even part of the wallets?
We're partnered with Truth Seekers, right?
Yeah, so they're going to be watching all our wallets. I think they launched their Wallet Watcher like maybe like a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
Isn't that
Yeah,
part of your
they're
agreement?
wallet watching us. We're part of their new program they got. So yeah.
Yeah, so
But that's all well and good, Josh. But when you take all the pre-sale funds, split them up into about 15 slices, and then send them all to a centralized exchange, how on earth are they going to watch that?
Any project that refuses to be transparent about their wallet information is one you need to be very weary about. Because in reality, there is no reason to hide team wallets. Whatever reason they give you, it's bullshit.
Completely agree with that one, Lou. As I mentioned earlier on, I've experienced lots of rug pulls in the crypto space, and Aviate Finance, well, it's starting to look like one. Up front, Josh claimed to have bots that were doing 10 to 20% per month after fees, but when it came to the crunch, and crucially as soon as he'd got the $1.6 million in his pocket, they couldn't even do 1% per month. Josh's initial excuse for this was poor market conditions. The bots just weren't making any trades. I know nothing is guaranteed in trading, but it does seem a little bit suspect that bots that were so prolific, all of a sudden, when Josh has $1.6 million in hand, start making losses. This isn't helped by the fact that Josh won't provide proper trade logs and refuses to provide proof that the funds are still there. During an AMA on the 26th of May, it got to a point where Josh had been asked so many times for proof of funds that he said he was going to end the call if anyone else asked for it. As Lou from Truth Seekers himself says, if teams are secretive about their wallets, you should be very suspicious. I can't think of any good reason why Josh wouldn't share proof of funds with us.
It's bullshit.
As with all the other Truth Seeker affiliated projects, Aviate Finance started off with a pre-sale incentive, which was if you put $1,000 in and bought 1,000 AVI tokens, you would get an NFT. The NFT would allow you access to experimental bots, which you could use yourself on your own centralized exchange account. This is another unfulfilled promise from Josh. Early on in the project, Josh promised the NFT was almost finished and would be airdropped within days. Several months later, guess what? Yeah, there's no NFT to be seen. But let's face it, if the bots associated with the NFT perform anything like the bots Josh claims to be using, who wants one anyway? I have to mention the Discord as well. It's one of the most weird Discords I've ever seen. Josh sits there in invisible mode the whole time, banning people for saying things he doesn't like, and then he goes through the Discord deleting everything that's negative towards the project. The negative sentiment in the Discord has reached such a critical mass now that even Josh is struggling to keep up with the deletions and the bans. Yep, I've been banned from the Discord, and so have most of the original pre-sale investors. All for raising unanswered concerns about our investment in Josh's project. Aside from those that capitalized on an early pump, most investors from the early days have been trapped in Aviate Finance due to the tanking of the token price. Do you take a loss now, or do you hope that Josh can turn it round? But that's only if the funds are still there. Due to the lack of transparency from Josh, all we can do is speculate as to what's happened to the funds. Are the funds intact? Have the funds been lost? Did Josh lose them during trading? Have they been transferred to an unknown third party that's doing trading? We just don't know, and while Josh won't show us the proof that the funds are still there, we have to err on the side of caution. Josh promised in the early days that his project wasn't the same as Prosperity Gem Ventures, but this is exactly what it's like now. Promise after promise after promise, it'll all get better in 2 months, 2 weeks, some other time in the future, but it never does. Trust me, I was in PGV as well. You won't see many videos like this on YouTube. I had to start my YouTube career for this. But the silence was deafening from the usual suspects such as Jonathan Seller, who said, "Oh yeah, I really hope to be doing more updates with AV8 Finance during the AMA." Well, where are they, Jonathan? I can't see them on your channel. An honest update on AV8 Finance telling everyone what a disaster it is would be appreciated. Thank you very much. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I may see you again in a future video. Goodbye.